Every time you do that, I keep getting this wrestling guy pop up for me. He's like this amateur wrestler. Have you seen this Tommy Invincible guy?
I think I have.
Yeah, dude, that's his whole thing. Like, stay invincible. He does that every time. Every time.
I was doing more Wolverine.
I just think of Tommy Invincible.
Yeah, fucking Wolverine. If I had claws, bro. If I had claws, you better watch your bum.
You can dig your claws into me.
Whoa, damn. Damn.
Now, this is actually a good topic. So we were discussing this like we sometimes do. We do a little planning session.
Galactic Cantina.
Galactic Cantina doesn't know what's going on. We do a little planning session, and we chose this topic, and we'd made the thumbnail and everything. Or you'd made the thumbnail. And
no, the thumbnail fairies did.
You'd made the thumbnail. Dude, I think this is the earliest the Shipinator's been in it.
This is the earliest.
He's in it right from the get-go.
I haven't even posted that we're live.
Dude, he's just a fan now. He's genuinely a fan now.
This guy's my hero.
Hello there, JS. What's going on?
Yes. So fuck, everyone's jumping in so early.
I know, it's great. So yeah, we were talking about this purely because of the theme park change.
Yep.
And then while we were planning, I have tweet notifications on for pages and stuff. I get a tweet notification. I'm like, oh, it could be basketball news. And then you see the it's official, Kathleen Kennedy stepping down. So we had already had this topic planned, and then it just gained a whole new life. Mental.
Yeah. I'm gonna just quickly take a little photo. Dude, but crazy the timing though.
Dude, like we were literally planning it, and then I'm like, "Oh, look at this!" And then we quickly planning, and then I went and did a video on it. But yeah, like it just happened. It just happened.
It was pretty crazy. Like, but I remember us looking at each other, going, "Oh my god, no way!" Like, what is the? And obviously, I went into my beliefs of Filoni. I can talk about that. I'm waiting for Seven just smashing the light.
Oh god.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, kind of a cool episode today. It's a massive change for Star Wars. Massive change. I mean, obviously, massive change for Disney, but this is like Marvel's not going to be anywhere near as affected from Disney's changes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, any other franchise that Disney's associated with is not going to get absolutely hammered by this. But this is like a core foundational change.
Yeah.
Of Star Wars. Something that a lot of people have been asking and kind of begging for years. Like actually begging for.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, we'll start with what we actually based this episode around initially, and that was like the theme park. First Tom Cruise. Oh no, my camera's doing it. Oh my god. No. Oh my god.
Disney's found him. Disney has found him.
That's what happens when you start talking about Star Wars.
I will continue the fight. Also, Tom Cruise, Galactic. Tom Cruise filming a saber fight is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I actually kind of like that. Dude, the fact that he flew in and then he was just like, all right, saber fight, and he just flies out is sick. It's sick. And yeah, JS, I mean, like, how many times, I agree, if anyone that can't see JS's thing, there we go.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I mean, how many people have said for so long, oh, Kathleen Kennedy's stepping down this time, it's real, it's real. Bro, you don't know that. You don't know that. You know, like, and how many people just want her to step down, so they're just saying it. But yeah, no, Tom Cruise is he's an action man. He saves cinema. You know, whatever anyone says about his Scientology, I can let you have that one. I mean, I don't know anything about Scientology, but I do know that guy is amazing for cinema.
Also seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah. Dude, he 100% flew the helicopter in as well. But dude, let's talk about the Disney changes, like the actual theme park changes. And it's something that honestly, I mean, I think that's crazier than what they've done with Kathleen Kennedy. Because
Ooh,
obviously, you
okay.
know, like someone has got to. I mean, someone's got to step down at one point. You can
Yeah.
never. I mean, you don't live forever, and you're not going to
Yeah.
be cognizant forever. So you have to be able to step down. So it's not as crazy as them shifting the whole Galaxy's Edge,
Yeah.
removing it from the sequels, and now putting it as original trilogy.
So
That's
we've got
crazy.
the Star Wars article here, so we'll go through it. So when was this posted? 5 days ago now. It was posted 5 days ago now, or 4 days, depending on American time.
Yeah, middle tooth people. You get him, Cheapinator.
Welcome to a new era of Batuu. Disneyland Resort has announced exciting updates coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland beginning April 29th, so in like 3 months. Black Spy Outpost is expanding its timeline, introducing elements from the events of the original film trilogy. So I don't think they're changing like the environment necessarily, but it's more the characters and like to do with some of the rides and that. So Darth Vader's coming in, which is a massive first. They're changing from First Order Stormtroopers to your Imperial Stormtroopers. Han Solo's going to be there. I think we've had Chewbacca before, but I think maybe he's going to be a bit more like consistent now. And then they're going to have John Williams' iconic musical themes. Oh my god, are Disney doxing me again?
They found you, bro.
Brother, they have. They actually have.
Bro, they found you.
Just wait. Let me. Yep, there we go. Just wait. Let me exit out of Restream, and I'll be back in 2 secs.
Guys, it's mine now. It's all mine, and it's just me. You and me, the people. Guys, thumbs down Jesse's camera. Thumbs down Jesse's camera. Dude, Galactic, you said Boba Fett. I don't know if they're going to add Boba Fett and all that kind of stuff. But I do know that anything that is around the original trilogy era, I'm also thinking like Mandalorian, just like, you know, I'm thinking around the time that the original trilogy was set. That could be a little bit before and maybe a little bit after, but it has to be around that period. You know what I mean? But we've taken over. We've taken over. Jesse's gone. Oh no, he's back.
Oh god, Disney,
Dude,
leave me alone.
I was on the good side for a second then. I'm always evil when it comes to my takes with Star Wars. Evil. Emperor Dundee.
Dundee, oh my god.
What I was saying was like, well, because Galactic was asking about Boba Fett, and I said,
oh yes,
I don't know, but I think it is around like everything that's around that's within the timeline of the original trilogy, and then also a little bit before and a little bit after, kind of like Mandalorian-esque, and then also kind of just like prepping for Andor, kind of, you know, it's not in the middle of the Clone Wars, but it's kind of like that patchwork in between where they're really starting to pick up the pace.
Yeah.
We're getting so good at low cut top. Dude, go check. If you search up Ahsoka in Reddit, you will find the craziest mouth breathing stuff. It's wild. It's wild. Do you think Dave Filoni will give us more Luke Skywalker while Kathleen Kennedy is gone?
I mean,
look, he was
so.
actually he was big on respecting what Luke Skywalker is and not being able to add too much so that it's going to ruin the legacy that he had before. Obviously, because Mark Hamill can't do too much of it, and it is going to be very expensive. Like very expensive to do all of that CGI all the time. So I would assume I'm not 100%, but I would assume that he's going to give little snippets like they already would have anyway, but he won't add too much in. I wish he listened to himself with that kind of stuff when it came to Ahsoka. But yeah, JS, just quickly before we get into it, I thought it was intimidating when I met Vader at the Star Wars meet and greet thing. It's going to be so scary if I see him following me. Okay, not going to lie, he's in the walls right now. He's in the walls.
He's in the walls right now.
He's in the walls. He's actually watching you, and if you hear breathing, it's him. It's him. Crazy good.
He does look. It's been fan cast for years now.
Oh, look, I can understand it. But at the same time, like, you can tell a story without telling the old characters. You know, and if it was going to be like a transport back in time and show all that kind of stuff, I would like it if they did the what's his name, Donald Glover as Lando. They did the Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. They had a new Leia, and they had Sebastian Stan as Luke. I would appreciate if all of them were different, but I think it's gonna, like, people get really weird with that. It's like, oh, I just want to see Luke different. I don't want to see everyone else different. You know, but you have to. It's either all of them or none.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I think it works well changing actors if you're seeing them at like different points in their life. But it's probably I would find it a lot more difficult to believe it in that if we're recasting them at an age we've already seen them. See, it works for Obi-Wan well because, you know, we see him as an old hermit, whereas, you know, we see Ewan as the young, youthful Obi-Wan. I mean, Alden did fantastic as a younger Han Solo.
Yeah.
But which we will get to in Kathy's interview. She did touch on that, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. I find it a lot more difficult if we're recasting characters at an age we've already seen them.
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of removes the immersion when you're going into it, because you have to think above whatever you're seeing on screen for whatever it could be. It doesn't just stay with Star Wars. It's like, whatever you're doing, you have to work that extra step to be immersed, and it's harder to be within that environment.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of why a lot of sequels that rehire people, they don't do too well.
Yeah.
But
Rosario got Fang. Yeah, that was by an Aussie, Boss Logic. He's an Australian.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a graphic design guy. Billy
That's
Lord.
kind of sick.
She did well. It looks good with the deep fake when she was in that Jedi scene with Luke and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah.
That was
so,
good.
Let's get into that article. Let's smash this article.
So the original Galaxy's Edge timeline placed Batuu during the era of the Resistance and the First Order between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. The new timeline will roll back several decades, expanding to span the events of Return of the Jedi and The Mandalorian. Ever since Black Spire Outpost welcomed its first visitors in 2019, the land has been growing and changing, adding new characters, attractions, and special events. This new timeline shift is the next chapter in the ever-expanding story of Batuu. We've always seen Galaxy's Edge as a platform for storytelling, a land that would continue to live and grow and evolve, explains Asa Kalama, Vice President Executive for Creative and Interactive Experiences at Walt Disney Imagineering. The new timeline means new characters, Han and Leia, as well as updates to some shops and even the land itself. We break down the biggest enhancements. So the characters, you've got, beginning at the end of April 2026, Vader's landing. The Vader they've got, I don't know, there's something about him. He looks really, all I can say, he looks really Fortnite-y.
But you know what? He
looks like Fortnite Vader. I don't know, there's something about the helmet. He looks like Fortnite Vader.
We've got so much Fortnite in Star Wars. It's ridiculous. And I'm so happy with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He looks Fortnite-y. Which is, dude, he's literally... Also, we got fucking shout out. We got 10 people in here, by the way. Brady Bloomer in the house.
Brady
4 p.m. It's almost 9 a.m. here.
Whoa.
We knew Vader had to arrive, explains Michael Cerner, Executive Creative Director for Disney Live Entertainment. He's the iconic villain. He's the iconic villain, the best villain ever, in my opinion. Vader's search for Luke Skywalker brings him to Black Spire Outpost, and visitors may cross paths with the powerful Sith Lord near the TIE Echelon. They're just talking about the TIE Echelon here. Fortunately, there's your man.
Love Mando.
Fortunately for the Rebels, some powerful allies are headed to Black Spire Outpost too. Luke Skywalker will be making an appearance. We've had Luke before, but it's been more of like a once-off, like, sort of special appearance. So it sounds like Luke will be a bit more consistent.
And he was good, man.
Joined by
they're
Han
all good.
Solo and Leia Organa. The Princess and the Scoundrel will be making their first appearance in Galaxy's Edge. The Imagineering and Disney Live Entertainment teams worked closely with Lucasfilm to craft all new looks for Han and Leia, making sure they're ready for adventure on Batuu. Han wears his iconic vest while Leia rocks a battle-ready white outfit. Her hair is up in a practical crown braid, similar to how she wore it on Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back. This is Leia's adventure look, explains Lucasfilm senior creative executive Matt Martin. So he's like big in the story group. I know Matt Martin. He's like big in the story group side of things. It's inspired by some comic book appearances from this era, as well as the look she had in Battlefront 2, which is pretty cool. That's kind of cool. I don't mind that.
Battlefront 2.
The video game, but this is really the first time we get to see it physically created on a person. And of course, Vader, Han, Luke, and Leia won't be the only characters you might encounter. Current fan favorites like Rey, R2-D2, Ahsoka Tano, and Chewbacca will remain as possible characters. Finally, Chewie and Han are together with the Falcon. That'd be cool, actually, seeing Han and Chewie outside with the Falcon.
That'd be awesome.
Plus, fans may also cross paths with the Mando, Din Djarin, and Grogu, who will soon be embarking on a new adventure together. As previously announced, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which I don't know if you guys have been on, it is the most, is like the sickest ride. Like, Rise of the Resistance is pretty cool as well. But this one, like, you are literally, you go on as a group of 6. Lucky me and my mate were at the front, so we got to be the pilots. So I sat in Han's chair, he was in Chewbacca's. If you're in Han's chair, you're doing the up-down motion, and if you're in Chewbacca's chair, you're controlling the side-to-side motion. But it's really interactive. Like, if you bump into it, so back then you're doing missions for Hondo, like you go on a smuggle something for Hondo, and if you're like smacking into a wall or something, like you really feel it. Like you get thrown around in that. Like people at the back are like controlling guns and things, and they need to wear seatbelts because you get like launched. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's getting a brand new mission beginning in May 2026, inviting you and your crew to team up with Mando and Grogu to track down Imperial officers and claim a bounty.
I want to do that.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. It's so cool.
I want to do that.
It's so
and also,
cool.
I want to hug the hell out of Chewie like sheep.
Yeah, dude, that's what I mean. Wookiees would give the best hugs.
Man, I would like give me a hug from Chewie. I reckon it's going to fix all my problems.
All your problems will just go away.
Like actually all my problems.
Cerner emphasizes that he and the team want Galaxy's Edge to always feel as immersive and as authentic as possible. To celebrate the new updates, Lucasfilm is teaming up with Marvel Comics to release a new tie-in comic series, revealing the backstory on how and why the Empire and the Rebels came to Batuu. Bringing in all these familiar faces means that you never know who you might encounter under the spires. Rey, for example, might pop up closer to Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, which is remaining unchanged, while you might catch Mando or Ahsoka wandering through the bustling marketplace. And of course, R2-D2 will be roaming throughout. What else are they doing? We're going to see things from the Rebels. We're going to see things from the Empire. It'll be so they're changing the shop up a little bit. Because in the shop, they've got like mannequins and stuff that are like just First Order stormtroopers and that. So they might be changing some stuff up there. Martin explains. So there is like sort of like a bit of canon here. The shop also has a rich backstory. Martin explains that the Black Spire surplus was founded by 2 former clone troopers who fought alongside each other in the Clone Wars and became close friends. Years later, one of those soldiers joined the Empire and served as an Imperial Stormtrooper, while the other signed up with the Rebellion. But as they got older, they decided to retire and team up as friends and business partners, opening their new venture on Batuu.
If anyone's played Sea of Thieves, Black Spire Outpost is goated.
Okay.
Absolutely goated. Yeah, I love Sea of Thieves. Sheepinator should be playing Sea of Thieves with me sometime soon. But R2, I agree. Sheepinator, R2 is a little clanker. He's an oil drinker. He's an oil drinker. Good morning.
Good morning, Gavin. What's going on, brother?
Gavin. Also, we got a few comments that I would really like to highlight just down there before.
Let's go.
So Galactic Cantina. Remember, Fortnite Star Wars event is official canon of how Palpatine returned in the sequels. I love that, by the way. I love that. A lot of people hate that. I love that because that is like so ridiculous that it's fucking hilarious. Also, JS says, Luke, join me in together. We will hit the gritty and crank 90s as father and son. Man, I tell you what, that AI was so much fun. That AI
Dude, he
beta.
is our birth. He is our
He
birthplace.
is.
We were
And
birthed by
Chris
that
Schober says, what
AI.
if Dave uses the version of Luke of Return of the Jedi, or the CGI version of Luke from Star Wars, the Boba Fett season 1, for his upcoming Star Wars Heir to the Empire movie? Yes, yes. Look, I think all of that could work, but my issue is, why are you showing him when there's so many other stories that you could be doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other things that we can see. I don't really. I would rather the Heir to the Empire make it canon,
Mm.
but with different characters in it. Like, it doesn't have to be Luke, it doesn't have to be Leia, and all that kind of stuff. Like, make new characters and make the same story as what it was before, right? But obviously, you have to remove the whole "this is the Last Jedi" and this is something. But if you add Thrawn in, and Thrawn looking for whatever he's doing in Ahsoka, and kind of like patching in with that, I think it would be far more successful than allowing the franchise to breathe, instead of just like constantly confining it into like, oh, we have to show Luke, we have to show Han, Leia, all that kind of stuff. Like, I would love to see new characters and new people that are actually well thought out. Like, it's not like it's impossible. Um,
I think I get what you're saying, and I do agree with it to a degree. But I think we'll get to this later, but with Filoni coming in and obviously with Lin Brenner as well, I think what the biggest show of goodwill you could give Star Wars fans, because like majority of Star Wars fans that would be pissed off at like what Disney have done and all that with it,
yeah.
a large reason, if not all the reason, would be the Last Jedi. So obviously there's been the Acolyte and all that other stuff, but the Last Jedi was sort of that first bridge burning, and that was a pretty big thing. I think the biggest show of goodwill and good faith, and like sort of a sign that Star Wars is sort of back on the right track, would be if they, obviously it's going to be heavily adapted because they've got a lot of canon to work between now with what they did in the sequels and all that. But if they were able to, in Filoni's Heir to the Empire movie, you do see Luke, you do see Leia, you do see Han, and if Filoni's using those characters, he's going to use them in a way that most, if not every Star Wars fan wants to see. I think if he was able to do that, that would be like a big righting of the ship, so to speak, and people would feel a lot more positively about it, going forward, because that would be a massive sign right there. When the Luke that they show in the sequels is obviously not the one most of us want to see, or a majority, a decent chunk of people want to see. But if we still get those earlier years of Luke, like you see him, you see what it meant to people just to see him for those brief 5-10 minutes in Mando. Even
Yeah.
the 5 minutes he's in Book of Boba Fett, we got 15 minutes of Luke content. It meant the world to everyone. If you get like that Heir to the Empire movie with Luke being a badass against Thrawn or something, like that would, I could imagine a lot of people saying like those are their sequels now. Like I know people say it anyway with the Heir to the Empire trilogy, like that's their sequels. But if you're able to see that in canon, that would be, I think that would, be sort of like a fresh slate for some people. And
No, honestly, I just think at that point, redo the sequels. Like, I'm not opposed to them keeping it. Absolutely. I mean, like, how much hard work and effort has gone into it. Like, I would say keep the same characters, redo the sequels. If that's really the case, like, I don't, and obviously it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
It's obviously not going to happen. It's way too much effort, way too much money to go into something that is completely hanging on the limb of like, we don't even know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, if people are trying to see more of, like a better side of things for Luke,
Yeah.
I don't think the Heir to the Empire is going to be the way to do it. I
Yeah.
think if you showed, if there was a way to get old Mark Hamill in and having old Mark Hamill series, that's the way to do it. Give him reason as to why. Because you can't just like go in and say, oh yeah, by the way, the one guy who never gave up on anything and anyone now has given up.
Yeah.
kind of wrong. But if you got to see deep into it, not only would we see more Kylo Ren, which everybody has been asking for, we're going to see a better version of old Luke, with the proper version before he falls to darkness, which is okay. Like, it's okay that you fall to darkness, but like, you can't just do that to a character that's so loved out of nothing. Like, honestly, Rian Johnson is the worst person for Star Wars. It's ridiculous. I'm a Star Wars fan. Shut up, brother. Anyways, like, it's ridiculous. But anyways, like, beyond Rian Johnson's absolute buffoonery, yeah, I think an old Luke would be great. I would love to see an old Luke. Show him with the new Jedi Temple.
Yeah, well, that's
what
what
he
everyone
was
wanted to
doing
see,
and
yeah.
how he's doing it. I mean, there's ways that they could fix it, and I hope that they could look at something new.
Yeah.
I just saw Shipinator.
Oh god, where am I?
But
I
like,
love Kylo Ren.
honestly, I really think that they could do so much more with old Luke before they even thought about doing young Luke again.
Yeah.
Oh, Nerd's here.
Oh, look who's late now.
Yeah, look who's late, buddy.
Look who's late now.
I agree with Sheepinator on the shirtless scene, by the way.
This
I
Sheepinator is a Kylo Ren fanboy.
Brethren.
Lightning Slug, what's going on, brother?
I mean, like, if you guys have any ideas on what you think about them changing from the sequels to the original trilogy era, let us know. I mean, we're going to kind of like stew on this for like a little bit, but then we're going to move on to the big bad, which is what I'm really keen to talk about.
You think the big battle with Admiral Akbar in Ahsoka Season 2 will lead up to his big movie? I think it's more just sort of, a juxtaposition between this is what's happening in, like, our galaxy, and then, it'll be cut between, Ahsoka and Sabine and that on Peridia. I think it's just more that, I don't know if, but I can sort of see the, like, line you're thinking, and yeah.
Honestly, I don't need an Admiral Akbar movie. I don't need it. I don't need anything more with Admiral Akbar other than him just saying it's a trap. Like, that guy is so uninteresting. It's not even funny.
Dude, you know what's going to happen to? Hey, whoa. What's with the Admiral Akbar disrespect?
No, like, when I saw him in Clone Wars, I was like, nah, I hate that guy.
What, you're not a Mon Calamari fan?
Nah, I'll bloody eat him. I'll eat him. I don't care. No, I mean, like, he's all right, but I don't need more of him. Oh, ooh,
Love a medieval movie
sick.
or series with similar vibes to Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's more up Jeremy's alley, but with
Dude,
ships
okay, imagine
dragons.
like the origins of the Force, and they've got lightsabers, the ones that have the big packs that are on the way, like on their hips, and they have like that's their power supply. Oh, hell yeah, I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. I would love to see some random dragon just like flying in, and then you just get this, and it's like raw. I feel like the lightsabers would be so raw and different. Or even if we got like an origin Mandalorian movie, like when they were traveling across the galaxy, just fighting all of these wars. That'd be sick. That'd be sick. Inject Admiral Akbar movie
Yeah,
into my
Lightning Slug.
veins.
He knows what's up. Now,
You know what?
I was gonna say we'll get into that Kathleen interview real quick. Say your last thing, but
No. I'm just saying. You know what? Like, I can appreciate it, and I would rather an Admiral Akbar movie over something like a Rose movie. But I tell you what, you'd have me really struggling to get there unless it was all underwater and we got to see like a completely different side of Star Wars, because we've never really done the underwater thing. I'd like that. I would like that. Like a huge battle underwater to get him to the point where he is Admiral Akbar. I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Galactic Cantina. Yeah. Yeah, Mandalorian War and show how Revan got his helmet. Hell yeah.
Ooh.
But Kevin Davis comes in with the clutch comment. Dave Filoni going to play it safe to make money. Dave Filoni, all he does is play it safe. Dave Filoni is he's not an adventurer. He is not someone that wants to challenge the norm, challenge anything that's going on. He's just going to be consistent and in the shadows as much as he can be.
I don't think you need to challenge the norm, though. I just think what Dave is we'll get into this after the interview, but Dave's biggest issue, I think, is going to be dealing with Disney, and that's why I think Lin-Manuel Brennan is going to be so good for him. His big because like there was the rumors, with the Bob Iger stuff and that come out after the Solo movie after the Ben Solo movie got leaked or not leaked, but Adam Driver spoke about it, and then all the leaks came out about it, and then sources were saying that Kathleen had to really push for Clone Wars Season 7 because Bob didn't want to do it and things like that. So that's going to be Dave's biggest challenge because I think he's going to want to do as close to what George had intended as possible. And then you're going to have Disney telling him, you can do this, but you can't do this sort of thing. And he's going to really struggle with that. So I think, having that's going to be, it's going to be interesting because if he gives us saying, can fans go, hey, that's not what George would have wanted. I struggle to see how Dave would have been okay with that because I remember even at Star Wars Celebration, he was borderline in tears. He was really emotional talking about what George meant to him and how important it is to him that he sticks by George's vision and all that. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see. And the other thing is we're not going to see a project come out that is solely under the leadership of these two for quite some time. What's the next, because we'll go into this interview, but she's still keen. Kathleen's still producing Mando and Grogu. She's still a producer on that, and she's still a producer on Starfighter. So we've got nothing confirmed coming out afterwards, but the next thing might be that Simon Kinberg's trilogy but there was another report from was it the Hollywood Reporter or someone along those lines the other day when all this got announced that Star Wars production might be going into hyperdrive after this leadership. They might be cranking out stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I was wondering if we might get an announcement like that Investors Day back in late 2020 when they announced Kenobi and Acolyte and Ahsoka and Lando and all these stories, which we got half of them. But
I gotta say, as I will 100% talk about that Filoni and all that kind of stuff after we do the interview or whatever, the article. But I'm basing my opinion purely on what he believes of Andor. That's it. With what I was saying before, with him not wanting to try something new, he is so stuck in a rut about what you can and can't do for George Lucas that I feel like if he was in charge, something like the prequels wouldn't even exist. The prequels were so different to what the original trilogy was. And George Lucas was big on that. He wanted it to be so different. And that's the reason why it was so divisive for fans and so many people didn't really like what was going on and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like with that same mentality of adherence to the old regime and the old kind of view, George Lucas never had that. And I hope, look, I'm making this assumption based on the fact that I've never known him. I've only seen interviews of him, and I've never actually had a genuine conversation with this guy. So I could be 100% wrong. But from what I've seen is if you continue that same mentality of nothing can change and nothing can be different, we would never have gotten the prequels after the original trilogy. George Lucas was so big on everything needs to change, everything needs to be different. When it came to the way he looked at politics more and the way he kind of adhered to a different generation of kids. You can't have the same thing that the kids were getting in the original trilogy as the kids were getting in the prequels because it's a completely different time. Now, obviously, the core of Star Wars is there. The core of everything is going to exist. And I see you've got a frowning face, but the core of Star Wars is always going to be there, which I can completely understand. You even get that core when it's in the sequels. That's not being removed. But they missed the mark because they didn't get it right. You can change it whilst not changing too much. And George Lucas was huge on that. He was huge on trying something new. Like he went, if you look at the difference between the prequels and the original trilogy, the reason why it's so hard for some people that like the prequels to get into the original trilogy is because it is completely different. Like it's a completely different target. It's still the same bow, it's still the same arrow, but it's a completely different target. And it's like, you can't assume that nothing can change. The times can't change. Star Wars is not really that much of like a young person thing anymore. It's kind of becoming an aged population interest. You're seeing a lot of old heads of Star Wars being more influenced by Star Wars of now, which is why, like how many kids liked it, but they didn't really get a say because all the old heads were getting such a say. I would say more so the Disney hate was so much more than what George Lucas got for the prequels. And in saying that, obviously, like there are reasons why, but I feel like it's the way they did it, the way that they couldn't understand what was going on. And if you don't adhere to a changing population, like Andor is leaning towards the older generation of Star Wars fans, which absolutely hit its mark. Like it's things have got to evolve. Things have got to change. If I was the same person from when I was 12 to when I'm 25 now, then this show would never exist. Like nothing would ever. I would never have a YouTube channel because you're stuck in a dogma, which is great. Which is great for the traditionalists, the purists, and for someone you need a Filoni. You need someone who is passionate. You need someone who is driven to create the thing that the original creator wanted. Obviously, if you stay close to the source material, you're really never going to go wrong. Which is the problem with the sequels is like they were based on the original trilogy. They weren't sorry, they were based on Star Wars. They weren't based on the things that influenced Star Wars. I mean, we've talked about that so many times. But it's like,
Yeah.
If you need someone like Filoni, but you also need someone like Tony Gilroy, who's ready to go. All right, hey, I can respect that. I can respect that this is something that is really important to Star Wars fans, but I'm doing this and I'm doing it differently. And I've got to try something new. I think the Acolyte was the worst version of them trying something. It was
Yeah.
just like it was horrific. I mean, you're looking at someone who's a fake Star Wars fan. If you gave Filoni the chance to do the Acolyte, I can guarantee you it would have been an absolute masterpiece. And that's not something that I want to take away from him because that is like bread and butter Star Wars. It's the same kind of writing. It's the same kind of story every single time, which is what Ahsoka is. How I don't know how many people I have to tell like, oh, if you like original Star Wars stuff and George Lucas era kind of stuff, you want to watch Ahsoka. Ahsoka's like number one because Filoni's so interested in that. But yeah, like you need to try something new. I can't understand the people that are so desperate to keep everything the same the whole time. Like you could never have the prequels being so different to what the original trilogy was if George Lucas wasn't willing to make something different. He could have stayed with the exact same mindset of like, all right, this is what I wanted to create for the kind of people at the time. Now I'm going to recreate that and I'm just going to do what was before. It never would have worked and the prequels would have absolutely flopped. I think they are so revered now because of how different they were.
Yeah.
You've got thoughts.
No. Like, yeah, no, I agree. I think I agree with you for the most part. It would be interesting if social media was more of a prevalent thing back in the prequel era.
Yeah, big
That
time.
would have been very interesting. Yeah, that's like. Well, actually, nerd brought up a point I was actually going to bring up here, and yeah, that's like this was like this. So this is in Bob. That's like a quote from Bob Iger's book, and that's Bob Iger was saying how disappointed George was. He's like he didn't even hide it. Like he's like you could just tell straight out he was disappointed, and he was saying, yeah. So he's like, yeah, George was like, you did nothing new here, no new planets, barely new characters, no advance. Like there was just he's like, you didn't try. Like he's like, you didn't do anything new, and they. What Bob said something along the lines of he's like that's kind of fair, but he's like you didn't. He's like I don't think George really appreciated the pressure we were under or something to get a movie out. and you know how what was his reasoning? That you know, we needed to do something Star Wars fans wanted to see. So they played it safe, I think, trying to go for, you know, the nostalgia bait, because, you know, obviously Force Awakens is basically a copy and paste of A New Hope, and it's like no one would start. I don't understand why they think they're under a time crunch for it as well. Like no one, like if it got delayed, you'd gone 10 years without a live action Star Wars movie. I think you could have waited a one or two more if you know, wanted to change the story and get it right and get it better, kind of thing.
I mean, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
Like it's the model that they're built on. It's the they've got to provide money to the shareholders, and what's the easiest way?
Yeah.
They see they've just acquired the Star Wars IP. If you do not start making money from the Star Wars IP that you've just spent billions on straight away, you are losing your shareholders. You are losing the people that are desperate in the industry to like hold on to Disney and to like generate Disney. It was a big move, and they had to pump out something quickly, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, fuck. That's exactly it. Like, it's exactly that. They didn't do something new. They didn't do something different. And it's something that I worry about with Filoni. Because all Filoni's doing, the new and different stuff, is he's copying other franchises. Ahsoka the White? Like, what? Like, actually, like, what is that? I think the Ahsoka TV show, if you pluck the story out, you could have done that in 2 episodes. Everything that happened, it was like just stretched out, fan service, just stretch it out. Just like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely enjoyed it, and I was hooked on every episode. And I'm waiting there every week with my little bloody Mando helmet and all of my figurines, watching this thing, just going, "Oh, I can't wait to see this next episode." Like, I'm absolutely in there. I don't want to seem like I'm not a fan of Ahsoka, but if you actually look at the story of it, there was nothing of substance. Absolutely nothing of substance. The only new thing was that there's a new galaxy. That's it. That's actually it. Everything was kind of, I mean, like, everything was kind of a repeat, or it was something that was basically fucking nothing. It was it was nothing. Ahsoka got no character building that was new at all. You got Ahsoka the White, great. Like, so all you're telling me is that Filoni can't write a new story. He can't create new characters properly, and he only does things in like a stretched out and extended, what could have been a great writer could have done that whole thing in 2 episodes and gone down a completely different path. Like, yeah, Ahsoka's a live action Rebels, and what he was treating it as, that was Galactic Cantina saying that, by the way.
Yeah.
And what he was treating it as was something that was kind of like, it was expected. Like, people are going to enjoy it no matter what. Sure, and I can respect that. And you have to, like, season 1 of certain things that are going to like blow up later, especially for something that's going to be a movie and so on. It's really important, unbelievably important, I should say, to build the world. Foundation, build the world. And you know what? Like, Star Wars Nerd has just put in best solution for Ahsoka's character, kill her off at this point. Look, they should have killed her off ages ago, but she's there now. They can actually fix it, and they can do so much better. But what I will say is, I'm worried about Filoni being in charge when he can't generate a good story by himself. He needs other people to generate the stories for him. Someone like, if he was there, and if Favreau was in charge, and Filoni was the second banana in that, dude, you would not even hear a single word of complaint from me. A single word of complaint. Because Favreau creates new. Look at The Mandalorian. It was completely new. It was something that was it was worlds apart from anything that we'd ever seen. Now, sure, they obviously went down the track of like Luke Skywalker later, but it didn't need to. That was the beauty of it, is I could show The Mandalorian to any Star Wars newbie, and then I could be like, this is a different Star Wars. If you enjoy this, you might enjoy everything that happens later on. It's like a little taster. It's a taster, but it's something completely new. Completely new. That's what I'm talking about. In like, you're adhering to the Star Wars at the time, the kids at the time, the people of the time. I don't want to see reruns and just like absolute cuntified of my favorite characters. Like, don't shit on my favorite characters. Create something new if you're going to do something like that. Like, genuinely, you can create a world in another world like you did with Mando and still have it be so successful. And that's what I worry about with Filoni. Like, I worry that he can't maintain a timeline. He can be the second guy that goes, hey, by the way, like, lore guys, I want no one other than Filoni. I want Filoni in there 100% to make sure that he can check the lore, he can check what George Lucas was influenced by, he can see what the original plan was. But again, the original plan has changed. And if you're constantly adhering to the old timeline, you're doing the exact same thing as what Rian Johnson did to J.J. Abrams. And it's going to make a completely kerfuddled, muddled mess into something that, honestly, it won't be coherent. It won't be. And if you continue with projects like Ahsoka, people will get bored. I can promise you. Ahsoka was absolutely nothing more interesting than seeing old characters in a newer time. That was it. And if they have the chance to do an amazing season 2, and I think they absolutely will. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be covering the whole time, and I can't wait. I'm literally like, I'm so excited for Ahsoka season 2. Don't get me wrong. But if they do not change it up and make it more interesting, you've built the foundation. And if they continue with another show that is stretched out fan service, Star Wars will not exist anymore. I'm sorry, but it's like, man, you look at look at the way that George Lucas did everything. When he was creating Star Wars, he built the whole story. Granted, he copied a lot from a lot of people. But when he pieced everything together in his own way and he created this amazing like world that he was in, he was willing to fill in gaps where possible. Obviously, fill in gaps beforehand. But the problem with him not being in charge anymore is that all of these gaps that are open that he would usually fill, now other people get a different decision. Other people have a different kind of mindset to it. So it gets muddled and it gets ruined. Whereas if you had something like Lord of the Rings, Tolkien created all of the dialect, the maps, the world in general. I'm talking about world building of like characters, wars, everything, dude, everything. He built every single aspect of Lord of the Rings, and then he created the characters, and then he said, I'm going to put these characters into this world and then see how it expands. That kind of stuff is so much easier to continue and to maintain as a story, because you go, all right, the world's there. There is nothing being filled in here. Like, this story exists. And Rings of Power, people didn't like it because they tried to make something new. But if they continued with what was there, season 2 was so much better than season 1, because they continued with what was already known and the characters that were already there. And you can build this whole world. It's so diverse and so intense. But you don't have the outside influences. You don't have those holes that need to be filled. And if George Lucas was in charge the whole time, we never would have seen any problems. But the fact that he wasn't a great, like, he was a fantastic world builder, but he was not a great story builder. Because the story builder, he was filled with, it was more holes than a bloody block of Swiss cheese. And it's like, if he's not the one filling it in, then you might get the wrong cheese. It's going to look the same. It's going to smell the same, but it won't taste the same. And you're going to know that it's different cheese. Like, it's, in the end, when you're looking at this beautiful contraption that is Star Wars, like the multiple hands. I'm not talking about George Lucas being the only one. Look at these amazing creators. I know I'm rambling, but like, look at these amazing creators that have added so much to it. The fact that George Lucas was the one who was able to say, all right, pick that, because that works. And yes, I can see that fit into my story. The moment he was gone, those voices are silenced. absolutely silence. And I think Bob Iger is the number one reason. I mean, like, dude, you can block your ears because Jesse's not a part of my beliefs with this one, and Disney should absolutely hire Jesse as one of the Australian content creators. But I'm serious. Like, I think Bob Iger is the biggest problem when it comes to Star Wars. I don't think Filoni's the biggest problem, but there is an accountability that Filoni has to take. He has to take it. If you are going to be the head of your own show, like Ahsoka, you have to be able to take the criticism. And I know he would. I mean, like he loves Star Wars, and he's a creator. He can appreciate when he can be right and wrong. I'm not successful enough to be able to create it, but give me the chance. I can guarantee you I'll create something good. But like you see something like Tony Gilroy, and he was an incredible writer, but he wasn't an incredible Star Wars fan. And that's where it differed. If you could combine the two of those, which I think is Favreau and Filoni, man, you could have done so much better. I'm not saying, dude, I have no idea who this new girl is, and I can't wait to see what she does. Like, you've just told me her resume before we even came in. Like,
Yeah.
that's an incredible story, and I can't wait to see what she's done. Genuinely can't wait. But like, I worry that it's not going to be enough. I worry that it's like you're getting, you're getting management in that is a yes man instead of a I'm actually going to manage, you know.
She's got quite a bit of like leadership experience as well. She got made ILM president back in 2009.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so she's
Hell
got.
yeah.
That's what I mean. I think she's going to balance David. Like I think it's like a really, because I think a lot of people thought Carrie Beck was going to get it, but she's got a. I think that just that's almost like the perfect mix to me. Like she controls the business side of things. She's got plenty of leadership experience because it was president of ILM in 2009. 2015, she was GM of Lucasfilm. And then 2 years ago, she was executive vice president for Lucasfilm. So she's got plenty of leadership experience.
Yeah.
Plenty. And she's been there for, 26, almost 27 years, basically. Half of that's under George, half of that's under the Disney regime. So,
dude, I can't wait to see what she does. Genuinely, like I can't wait. And I like the reason why I'm talking about just Filoni is because I don't know her and I don't know anything about her. But I'm just like, I don't know. I know I'm passionate about it, but like, far out, man. It's just so important. It's so important to understand that you can have the right person. You can have the right person who's also wrong for the job. Really. Like, I'm not saying him being president, but him as a creative lead, it really worries me. It really worries me. Like, I can appreciate the George Lucas loyalists and like I'm talking about the people who are in Disney now that are loyal to George's idea.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's the first one to say it's not my IP anymore. I don't have any say. And whatever they want to do with it is absolutely their way. Like, I don't care. He's too busy building what is going to be an incredible museum, right? It's like, you have to respect that if you continue with an old ideal in a new world, it's just not going to gel, and you're going to have more of a rift. It's not going to fit the same way, just like what J.J. Abrams did with Rian Johnson. They were constantly like, JJ made something that he liked, which was a fucking copy of everything that was created before. And then you have Rian Johnson, who wants to destroy everything because he doesn't like him and he wants to make his own story. And then you bring back Rian Johnson and it's like, sorry, you bring back JJ Abrams and it's like, oh, I want to destroy everything he did. And it's like, bro, like, fucking hell, are you children? Are you absolutely children? Can you not withstand the fact that you guys are working on something that you're apparently so in love with?
Yeah.
Separate your hatred for each other. And I worry that Filoni has too much hatred for the current Star Wars and the current regime, that he wants to be the old school and be different, be what was created before, and what it's not going to gel. It's not going to gel with what's there, because like it or not, we have the sequels. They're not going to change it. It's not going to be different. The world is the world now, and I would love to see something new, but we're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. And if you're constantly going against the grain with that, man, like I don't know if you've ever done woodworking before, but you can get what looks like the most disheveled, mangled, knotty piece of wood and still turn it into a great piece of art. Like, it's all about the way you do it and the way you work with the wood itself. That's it. It's the same thing here, and I feel like, sure, I'm a bit passionate about it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Disney hater. I'm not a Filoni hater. I just don't like when people don't write things properly.
Yeah.
And if you're writing it just to write it, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, we're so far gone from art being created to be art. Now it's like we're creating it to make money, and we're creating it to fill the expectations of whoever. And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And it makes me really deflated for the Star Wars universe, the Star Wars fandom, everything. It makes me deflated, man. Like, when I look at it and I go, fuck, man, I don't think it's ever going to change. And I'm happy to sit back and go, this is what I like. This is what I enjoy. But it feels like they're stretching it so thin with whatever amount of like fan loyalty that there's going to be none. Honestly, like, it really worries me, because if they continue down the same path, there's not going to be any more Star Wars, and they're going to bleed it completely dry. It's just Gavin agrees. Defects on a wood can create beauty. 100%. Lightning Slug. Do you want to read that one?
Yeah. My hope lies in the fact that Dave is a huge old superfan and nerd in a way Kathy never was. Dave is aware the IP means more to people rather than just being just another suit looking to make money. As saying, I think that's going to be the inevitable clash there with Disney, and it's going to be very hard on Dave. And yeah, that's where Linwin's going to play a massive role, I think. Yeah, it's going to be super interesting, because that's going to be the interesting thing. Like, if Dave's working on this project, he wants to do it this way. Disney say, no, you're going to do it this way. And if Dave doesn't agree with it, what's he going to do? Because I could honestly just see him saying, we're not doing it then. He's like, he's not, if it doesn't go, because he still talks to George constantly saying, hey, like, how would you do this? Would you do it this way? That sort of thing. Like, if he goes to do something that George wouldn't agree with, or, wouldn't be in line with what George wants, I could see him just, depending obviously how far along the piece it is, like if there's already a lot of money invested into it, he's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. But yeah, if it's early in the piece, I could just see him, dropping it.
Look, as much as I want to say, hell yeah, put my faith in that, I would say, honestly, Kathleen Kennedy was a huge Star Wars fan. There's no way you're taking control of the IP and not being a massive Star Wars fan. Like, she was great, but she was just a different kind of fan, and she liked different things. And who knows if the things that Dave Filoni likes is actually in the long term going to be the same thing as everyone else. And people look at him as a guiding light because he was different to what Kathleen Kennedy was, but I don't think she was actually wrong. The fact that she was dealing with the exact same adversity that Dave Filoni was coming into, and actually a lot harder. She was dealing with the full brunt of it, and people treated her that way. I just like, I don't agree that Dave's going to be any better when it comes to that. I think Dave has honestly been such a yes man for so many different things. Like, he's not a Favreau. Favreau is completely different. Now, I've got a bit of love for Favreau as like a creator. I just think he's such an incredible guy. And I mean, like, he was the main reason as to why Marvel was so successful. Like, really, I mean, he was. But I just think, I think people are too quick to judge Kathleen and to judge what she did and how she did it and the pressure that she had. And she was going through uncharted territory. And now getting rid of her, I mean, if they got rid of her or if she decided to step down, I have no idea. And no one's ever really going to know. Things can come out, but you can never really trust anything. TMZ is always going to be wrong 90% of the time. And it's like, you're looking at people like that. You're looking at the incredible feats that that she did. You don't know the secret battles that she was fighting. You don't know what's going on in the background with Bob Iger and all the other executives that are saying, actually, no, I don't care what you say. Like, you're a figurehead. You're a figurehead, and we are just going to do whatever the hell we want, which really is effectively what it is. Filoni has no power. If they want to give Filoni power, they will give it to him. But they won't. He's just going to be the face. He's just going to be copying it. And they put someone in that people like because they think that he's going to be the savior. But in the end, it's still the same Disney. It's absolutely still the same Disney. And, it's not going to change unless we give Filoni the kind of lenience of he can screw up. Because I can guarantee you 90% of the time it's not him. And it's not the decisions that he's making. Like, there's a reason why Favreau doesn't really want to do too much these days, is because he's being controlled by too many people. When he was given the freedom to do what he did with the original Mandalorian, it was so different to what he had to do with Mandalorian season 3. Like, that is purely Disney executive fuckery. That's just what it is.
It is.
It's what it is. And it's like, I think people are way too quick to put all of their faith and their security in someone like Filoni, but they don't realize that he has absolutely no say. He has absolutely no say. Like, nothing. If they want to do something, they're going to do it. So as fans of not just Star Wars, but fans of Filoni and Filoni's way of doing things, we have to be appreciative that the things that he does all the time is not actually going to be him. If that makes any sense. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Do we have time to speed run this interview?
I mean, yeah, we can. I
was gonna say the last thing I want to say is, like, 100%, like, yeah, you don't know, like, because obviously a couple things came out that Kathy had to clash with, like, Bob and Disney executives about, but there would have been a shit ton more as well. The thing that's always going to hurt her, though, is, like, you've got those interviews and that where she says, we don't have source material, there's no comics, there's no games, like, brother. The downgrade on, I think in this interview she talks about, like, Lucasfilm games and that. It's like they gave a couple good games, but, like, look at what LucasArts did, and then look at what Lucasfilm Games did. And then there's, the whole interview of she did an interview with George and that when they were handing over Lucasfilm to Disney. And, she's talking about, we're going to take care of your characters. And then there's a separate one years later at a convention where she's talking about they never saw a script. She's like, George never did scripts for 7, 8, and 9. And then you've got multiple interviews, whether it be on video or literally in the Star Wars archives, where George has said, we did treatments for 7, 8, and 9. We'd started scripts, all that sort of thing. He gave it to Disney. Like, there was just a few lies and miscommunications and just, like, not having a clue, like with the source material one. That's a big one. Like, come on, man. But yeah, so we'll screen share this one. It is a bit of a
but my whole thing is, like, what if she was told to say that? Like, I don't know anything that's going on. And I agree that kind of stuff really shit me. It really shit me, because I'm looking at it as a fan going, bro, I could do 1 second research and I can find everything. Like, I've literally played the games growing up and I've seen all of this. Are you saying we have nothing? But like, obviously there's going to be downsides. I'm not saying she's perfect, and I'm not saying that you have to love everything that what she's done, but you have, like, it's just it's hard when she was just the figurehead and dealing with all of the brunt. And I think a lot of people, as she's leaving, give her the credit that she deserves. But yeah, let's go into this article and then we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah, so this interview was actually done, like, it obviously got posted the other day, but this was done in December, a couple hours after wrapping Starfighter. Yeah. So apparently she's been, like, this has been a couple years in the works. So that's why those rumors have been circulating for a couple years. Like, this transition period has, been going on for a couple years. That's just, like, a bit of a thing. So yeah, this is where the interview actually starts. So yeah, she says, 2 years ago, I went to Bob Iger, obviously, and Alan Bergman to figure out what the transition plan would be, and I made the recommendation that be Dave and Linwin, the latter of whom had been running. So yeah, Linwin had been running Lucasfilm alongside her. She comes out of ILM 16 years as the general manager and then transitioned into the GM for Lucasfilm. She's been my key financial partner, my business partner running the company. Dave is the perfect person to transition, but he hadn't made a movie, and I worked very closely with him, beginning with Rogue One, to get him a feel of how live action works. His background is animation, as he worked with George on Clone Wars. He's very talented and immersed in Star Wars. He and Pablo Hidalgo are like the walking encyclopedias inside the company. They've always had the answer when you ask, hey, can I do this with a lightsaber? Or what colors were the sabers? Or anything else you need to know what has come before. Dave has now spent all of the seasons of Mandalorian working with Jon Favreau, who's been a great mentor to him. And then he went off and did Ahsoka, which came from some of the stories he was telling in Clone Wars. He was able to create the season 1 of Ahsoka, and now he's just finished directing some of season 2 and writing all the episodes. He finished that in October. But my point is, we've been talking about this for 2 years. Bob Iger retired, was replaced, and then came back. That is not happening here. I told everybody I'd stick around a bit longer than I had intended, but I'm so ready to go off and have the chance to make lots of movies. I want to do more movies, and I want the opportunity to get back to a kind of eclectic group of movies the way I used to. I'm looking forward to working with Frank again on some stuff. He has been doing lots of documentaries and having a ball. I'm also really interested in the new technology, I have to say. Yeah, so she talks about AI here. She's interested in using AI here, apparently. I'm interested in exploring using those tools in responsible ways and working out the complications around trying to figure out what we're going to do in terms of protecting artists' rights. That is vitally important. But at the same time, there's nothing more exciting than having new tools that can expand on what you're capable of doing in terms of creating visual language around stories. I've had a unique opportunity to be around a lot of that over the years and witness those changes. I genuinely feel like we're entering that moment again where we're going to see things we've never seen before. I just think that's really exciting. That's just talking about some stuff there. So you've just wrapped the 6th film in the Star Wars universe. Is Starfighter meant to be an ongoing theatrical series? So I think, she just means that's more in the Disney, because we've obviously the sequels, and then we had Solo and Rogue One. It was envisioned as a single film. Sean Levy just made the experience so pleasant for everybody, and we found this 14-year-old kid out of Ireland who had virtually no experience. That's always risky, hanging a story so much on a child actor. You're not sure exactly how comfortable they're going to be. Flynn Gray turned out to be such a special kid. When you cast kids, a lot of it becomes about the parents. He has great parents and got lucky there too. Not only was he there with Ryan Gosling, this movie is structured in a way that he had kind of a new actor coming in every few weeks that he was one-on-one with. Matt Smith, Amy Adams, Aaron Pierre. And each one, it was so great to watch him because he would just get so excited by the actors he got to work with. It was like he was in the best university you could possibly be in. That's her leaving. Where are we? We'll get to more of the Star Wars stuff. That's more about her career. So what have been the highs and lows of running a company built on such a beloved IP? The highs include realizing how many people love Star Wars. The majority of people, and certainly the people that I run into and people outside the business, they love Star Wars. They love the movies. They might love all of the shows. They might love some of the shows. But when I came into this, I realized a few things. We had walked in at a moment where there hadn't been any movies for 10 years or more, but there was still the memory of the greatest series of movies in cinema history. So you're walking into something that has enormous expectations, yet at the same time, you know that you've got to find new characters and you have to expand the galaxy, and you need to think about who the new audience is. Okay. That's what I feel that I did, and that's what I feel all the people that I've worked with over this last decade did. The highs include bringing in a new audience. I think we did find new characters. We continue to find new characters. My issue with that is they went out seeking the new audience. Whereas if you just make a good story, the new audience will find you. They worked back to front on that, and I think that was you just work on the story, and the audience will find you. You've already got an enormous fan base that is going to see what
Yeah, anyway.
I agree. Anyway, the lows are that you've got a very, very small percentage of the fan base that is has enormous expectations. Basically, they want to continue to see pretty much the same thing. Okay. And if you're not going to do that, then going in that you're going to disappoint them. I'm not sure there's anything you can do about that because you can't please everybody. All you can do is try to tell good stories and try to stick to the essence of what George created. See, I don't understand that because George created new things, but then we want to see the same thing. That doesn't make sense to me.
That doesn't make sense.
He embedded incredible values into Star Wars and what it has to say. The whole idea of hope and fun and entertainment and what he's done over all these years, that's what I tried to preserve. And I wouldn't do that any differently, and I wouldn't change anything that we've done over the years. I understand why some people may like certain things more than others, but that's not going to change why I decided to do certain things and why I decided to work with the people that we worked with. I think everybody that came into the Star Wars space, they love Star Wars, and that was first and foremost important. You want to have people coming into Star Wars and wanting to tell stories and wanting to make movies and wanting to create television shows that you respect and care about. Jon Favreau is completely different than Tony Gilroy, and yet they're both incredibly talented storytellers. I found it thrilling to support each one of them in trying to tell the stories they wanted to tell. Because obviously it was probably, a Disney-headed thing. But obviously there was all those rumors on Mando season 3 that, John almost walked off set and that because she was appearing too much. That's what I think I do well, and that's what I like to do and want to continue to do. And hopefully that took Star Wars into the next step. We'll see in the long run, but it feels like it did. I feel like we expanded the universe, we brought new audiences in, and I think that's the most difficult thing to do with franchises in general, but especially with something like Star Wars, where George just created something that became a part of everybody's childhood. Every single filmmaker that walks in and wants to work on Star Wars, the first thing they say to me, the first thing I hear is, let me tell you about when I went to see Star Wars for the first time with my dad. That's just a story about when Ridley Scott or something first saw Star Wars. It's always great when a movie makes us feel that way. I felt it on Oppenheimer and more recently on One Battle After Another, and especially Sinners. The audacity of Ryan Coogler to veer from that sultry blues number in that club to imagery of people past and present from Africa to Compton, where you can see the connective tissue and historical influences past and present to that form of music. Coogler went into the genre sandbox and turned it completely on its ear and made it relevant to everybody as they thought about their own tribal roots and origin stories. I don't think I'd ever seen that in a movie quite like he did it. I imagined you'd see. What is that? I imagine you'd give your eye teeth to have a guy like that see where he could make a mark in the Star Wars universe. Eye teeth. Has anyone heard of eye teeth before?
No. It's people trying to seem smarter than what they are. It's like that, the Wicked interviews, how they were just like, like, I feel that deep in you. It's like, shut up, bro. Shut up.
Oh, trust me, Mike, that is this is a big part of what I've tried to do. Sit with the people that I would love to see step into the space and create something that we've never seen before. But Star Wars isn't really Ryan's thing. The trickiest thing is to find a filmmaker and say, you can step into this space and you can still be you. Just do it, George. You can still be you, but okay. Tony Gilroy, I knew him well from the Bourne Identity movies. He didn't see himself in the Star Wars universe. I said, okay, let's just talk this through. And he came in on Rogue One and helped us, and they slowly started to get hooked. By the time we were talking about Andor, he found a way in because he realized there was something important he had to say, and he could do it inside Star Wars. And that started to become very exciting for him.
Legit.
It's thrilling to try and find that. I've had early conversations with David Fincher, with Vince Gilligan for TV. I've sat down with Alex Garland and others where the minute you say their name, you go, oh, that might be interesting, Star Wars. But not everybody is just going to go, oh, yeah, great. I'm going to drop everything and spend the next 3 to 5 years to figure this out. That's the other thing to consider. These are really complicated, difficult movies to make, far more than I think people give them credit for. People have to set their lives aside for years. That's any movie, though. George did that. Like, any movie director focuses on that for a couple years.
Yeah.
How many years on average? 3 to 5 from the time you start developing and then what's involved in concept and creation. That sounds like the best time ever, though. Let's get to what the fans are eager to know, the progress on films and series by filmmakers who've committed to putting in that 3 to 5 years. Rian Johnson, James Mangold, Simon Kinberg, Taika Waititi, where are all their projects at? I've got to tread a bit carefully here. Jim Mangold and Beau Willimon wrote an incredible script, but it is definitely breaking the mold and it is on hold. Taika has turned in a script that I think is hilarious and great. It's not just my decision, especially when I've got a foot out the door. Donald Glover has turned in a script, so that'd be for the Lando movie.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And as you have read, Steve Soderbergh, and this is what I found really interesting. She gave like a bit of an update on the Ben Solo movie. And as you have read, Steve Soderbergh and Adam Driver turned in a script written by Scott Burns. It was just great. Anything's a possibility if somebody's willing to take a risk. So it's like it's still like it wasn't like completely thrown in the trash. It's still there, but it's not. I don't think it's up to a director to take a risk. It's like Disney to say yes to it, kind of thing. I remember when I came into this job, the first thing Bob Iger said to me was, be bold. I've always liked that because I think you have to be bold and you have to be willing to take risks with people and with ideas. Otherwise, you are just doing the same thing. Right now, we're in an era where companies are so risk averse, and I get it. I hear all the conversations. They've got Wall Street to please, and I get it. But I also believe that that's what contributes to things disappearing ultimately. I just think you have to take those chances.
Yeah.
Everything I just reeled off to you, which I agree with, everything I just reeled off to you is taking a bit of a chance because none of those filmmakers are just walking in trying to do same old, same old. I'm excited by that, but the studio's nervous about that, and that's kind of where it sits at the moment.
Fair.
What about Rian Johnson returning after Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, grossed $1.3 billion globally? We expected him to return. Once he made the Netflix deal and went off to start doing the Knives Out films, that has occupied a huge amount of his time. That's the other thing that happens here. After Sean and I started talking about Star Wars, Stranger Things kicks in, and he was completely consumed by that for a while. That's what happened with Ryan. And then I do believe he got spooked by the online negativity, which he said he didn't apparently. So he just, yeah. he like quote tweeted it and said like spooked, no, lol or something. I don't know. I think Ryan
he definitely got spooked, the fog.
Yeah. I think Ryan made one of the best Star Wars movies. He's a brilliant filmmaker and he got spooked. This is the rough part. When people come into this space, I have every filmmaker and actor say to me, what's going to happen? They're a little scared. I do agree with that shareholder thing. Like, I remember in the Star Wars Archives, George was talking about when he presented the idea of the prequels to Fox and that for the first time. And they're like, what are you doing? You got to ruin everything. Like, if he didn't own Lucasfilm, it would never have got made.
Yeah.
You've developed a thicker skin, no doubt. You kind of been used to all the criticism when you were producing all those movies with Frank Marshall for Steven Spielberg. What do you say to ease the apprehension of these newcomers to the Star Wars universe? Every time you release another movie or series, it's like fire in the hole. I'm honest, especially with the women that come into this space because they unfairly get targeted. I don't agree with that. Like, I don't
agree.
I think everybody gets, poor term, but like fairly targeted. It's like, I don't think it's a gender thing. You would have a small percentage of like homophobes, sexists, racists, all that. They agree. They exist. 100% they exist. But I don't think, like, if we talk about women actors, producers, all that, I don't think they get targeted more than men.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Like, if a man did The Acolyte and it turned out the exact same way, it would have been the exact same criticism. And I emphasize that it is a very small group of people with loud megaphones. I truly do not believe that it's the majority of the fans, and I think we're also in this weird world of where bots can affect things. What?
I mean, that is true.
What's she talking about? What bots?
Well, you can. Well, I mean, like, it is actually pretty prevalent.
Yeah, okay.
Like, there's bot farms that push an agenda and push an opinion to create discourse. I don't think it's necessarily with Star Wars stuff. Like, the fuck, I don't think Star Wars is going to be getting botted the whole time, being like, hey, everyone, quickly, let's talk shit about this. It's like, no, there's just a general discourse. But in society, yeah, there are definitely, there are definitely bot farms that to push a certain agenda.
Yeah,
like, that's the whole thing of a lot of like propaganda and so on. Yeah.
Where we're up to, and you have to develop a tough skin. That is exactly right. That's what you have to do. You can't make it go away. Write good stories. All we can do is put our heads down and do the work and believe that we're doing the best we can, telling the best story we can. And if somebody gets really nervous about it and doesn't want to do it, I say, then don't do it, because I can't tell you this won't happen. How goes the project that Simon Kinberg is writing and producing? He's working right now. He wrote something that we read in August, and it was very good, but not there. We've pretty much upended the story and then spent a great deal of time on the treatment, which he finished literally about 4 weeks ago, and it's a very detailed treatment, like 70 pages. And so he is expected to give us something in March. Are there any other Star Wars films or spin-offs that the fan base will never forgive me for overlooking? We've talked about this new trilogy, and then the things that you've mentioned. Mangold's is really on the back burner, as is Soderbergh's. I think the ones by Taika and Donald are still somewhat alive. That's going to really be up to the new team to figure out. Dave,
I hope Taika no.
Yeah, I know your thoughts on Taika. Dave, I know that Dave and Linwin are very much on board with what Simon's doing, and that would be a new trilogy in the timeline in the timeline of things that takes you well into 2030 plus. So that's really what's up next. So yeah, that Kinberg trilogy seems like that might be, unless we get other things announced. That at the moment that'll probably be the first thing we see under this new leadership. Which of these will you produce? I'm open producing any of what it is they need. Certainly in the things that I've been involved in, the filmmakers I've been working with, I'd love to see those through if I could, but I'm not mandating any of that. I'm genuinely trying to support the new team that's coming in and encouraging them to make the decisions they need to. You've got to be on board to drive these things, so I'm really encouraging them to do that. And then I think this is just about marriage. George here. Sounds like your challenge won't be keeping busy, but managing the fact you're a finite resource. George Lucas has certainly found new purpose with his Museum of Narrative Art. Frank and I just had dinner with George weeks ago when he came over to London. He's so engaged. When George asked me to do this job, I felt an incredible responsibility to him more than even Star Wars, and I feel really gratified that he's happy with where things are. Is he?
He's definitely not.
And I think he felt relieved that he sold the company and that we've cared so much about being the guardians, the caretakers of it. What?
Bro, he's had such a good out of that, honestly.
You've got the quote from Bob Iger's book alone. What? Anyway, building this museum, which is really representative of his legacy, has just put him in a really good place. He settled in, realizing that what he accomplished and what he contributed to the film industry has been recognized in such an amazing way and always will be. There's so much scrutiny on all things Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Some work better than others, but they all seem to gross big numbers. Is there any you wish you had back and maybe you could have done better with more time, or that you let go of something you'd love to have seen get made and released? No, I don't really have any regrets. Well, maybe a bit of a regret about Solo, a Star Wars story. I brought Larry Kasdan in on, and we were so excited about that idea. And then when you're into something and you realize fundamentally, conceptually, you cannot replace Han Solo, at least right now. Harrison Ford is a hard act to follow. As wonderful as Alden Ehrenreich was, and he really was good and is a wonderful actor, we put him in an impossible situation. And once you're in it and once you're committed, you've got to carry on. I think I have a bit of a regret about that, but not about the movie making and filmmaking. I don't have regrets about that. I just think that conceptually we did it too soon. At the same time, many felt that Indiana, that's just more about Harrison Ford. And that's it. So yeah, there's a bit there, but like she's almost backtracked a bit on what she said about Alden a few years ago, where she basically just threw him under the bus. But
yeah. Look, I think we talked about so much of that.
Yeah, I think we did cover quite a, yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's funny to see. It's funny to see the contradictions, but
yeah.
What do you expect? Someone's leaving. They're gonna try to save themselves. They're gonna try to throw the life vest out to them. You know, like you can't expect anything else. But I think to blame Star Wars fans for like sexism, homophobia, or whatever, and targeting women, I don't like that. Because really, it's not that. I mean, how many people see Leia not as a princess but as a general?
Yeah.
You know, like we love strong women in Star Wars, and we need more strong women in Star Wars. But when you're creating characters that just don't have a backbone, no matter if it's a girl or a guy, people aren't going to like them.
Yeah, and like,
and Rose Tico was so stupid.
I'm not. I know there would be that percentage of weirdos out there that that would, but the large majority, if they're critical of a person who happens to be a woman, it's about the product they've given us. It's not a personal. It shouldn't be. They probably definitely do.
Yeah, there's definitely some people that do.
Yeah, but it's not a personal for the majority. It's not a personal attack on them as a woman. It's a personal attack on them. Well, it shouldn't be attack. It's more criticism. But it's criticism of them as what they've given us. For example, Leslie Headland and The Acolyte. It's not, if that was a man that gave us that, it's the exact same criticism. It's we're criticizing the show and the product that we got because it was, it wasn't great. It was terrible.
Bad media. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not to do like as a person, wish you the best, healthy, all that sort of thing. But as a Star Wars creator, stay away.
And honestly, I think that's a pretty good way to finish it, man. And honestly, like, I mean, as a Star Wars fan, I'm keen for the future. I'm hopeful for the future. I can't wait to see what Filoni and this new girl does. I mean, honestly, very excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I think this is as good of a situation as we could have hoped for. But you've still got the you've still got the looming mouse in the background, so
yeah,
it's going to be very
I
interesting.
wish I bought their IP. But no, honestly, like, keen for the future. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good for Star Wars. And honestly, I think everyone here has kind of agreed.
Yeah. I think we're all sort of on the same page here.
Yeah.
But who knows? You might get a change of seer. Like I remember Nerd was telling me the other day. Kevin mentioned it up here. There's a guy called Josh D'Amaro.
Okay.
Apparently, he's done a lot of good things with the Disney parks. Nerd was telling me. So he's sort of someone that I think a lot of people are looking at to come in as CEO of Disney, because that's what I mean. If you get a leadership change at Disney like that, just twists everything on its head, and that could change everything. But who knows?
And Gavin, bang on. Criticize the talents, not the gender. Big time.
Exactly.
Guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching.
That was a longer episode. That was borderline an hour and a half. But
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That was
good.
And next week we'll be back, same time,
same place, same time,
same place. That'd be sick. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone, check out Jesse's weekly schedule.
Yeah, I didn't post it yesterday because in the morning I uploaded a video, and then last night I posted the thumbnail for this, and I was like, I don't want to overload people, so that'll be up soon.
All good, bro. That's all good, bro. But make sure you keep an eye on his channel. He's got so many cool things coming out. And also, if you missed some of the videos that he was just posting, there were some pretty cool ones. So go check that. Go check that stuff out. And yeah, I will. I'm going to catch you, Jesse. You want to say? I'm
going to catch you too. Yeah, dude. Yeah, sheep and eight, dude. I think it's definitely. I was like, I really wanted to do it this week, but I was like, we didn't want to do it 2 weeks in a row. But that was some of the most fun we've both had. I think we'll definitely do that soon.
Maybe even next week.
Maybe even next week, because I am actually keen to get back into it.
It was a lot of fun.
That was fun. May the force be with you, Gavin. Till next time.